What's happening? Ronin here. One of the concepts I like in PUA that they had was to live in your own reality. So you have a very strong reality and you meet somebody, and then if they have a weak reality, this is what they say in PUA. I don't agree with it, but I'm going to say it anyway because they started it. I like to give credit when someone kind of starts something, right? So what they say is you have a strong reality, and then the girl will kind of get sucked into that reality. Now, actually, the PUAs are actually correct on this one. Girls they love to be sucked into a guy's reality. They like to, if they meet a surfer, they like to, be a surfer like on the beach and like counting shells and trying surfing. And if a guy's like Wall Street, then they want to go to Wall Street. They want to do this stuff. Girls love this kind of thing. It's an exciting thing for them. Just like when you meet a friend who's doing something new, It's interesting, right? Girls, I think they like to get sucked into a guy's reality in the beginning, right? And that gives a guy a sense that she loves him, right? But actually, she's just kind of enjoying the ride, right? It's just like a new, interesting thing, right? And okay, so anyway, the reality, right? Here's the thing: is the PUA concept, the original concept, which I want to give credit for, is that you have this strong reality. So essentially, no matter who you are, okay, no matter what reality you have, you just have to be very sure about it, and you got to be like, hey, here's what we're doing, blah, 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 and the girl's going to get sucked in. Now, the thing about PUAs is they basically, when they started, and this is one of the, like if you go to AA, they say, oh, I drank too much, I drank this much, then I went to AA, got sober, right? PUAs are like this. I had the worst social skills, I had no friends, no girls, I was lonely as hell. And then I learned PUA and I got all these girls, right? That's kind of the PUA speech, right? When you listen to any PUA, they're always going to kind of say that, right? I wasn't like that. Like I wasn't natural. So I'm not really a PUA. I was just kind of like, I like people. I was always good at it. It wasn't something I studied. I just kind of enjoyed it. But I ended up making a lot of friends that were doing it, right? So anyway, I think sometimes the PUAs, because they don't have the natural social skills, they don't get these concepts perfectly. But for MGTOW guys, I want to really break this one. I think it's a very important concept because we live in our own reality, right? It's go your own way, right? That means your own reality. But here's what the PUAs missed. And it's a key thing is, in a sense, and of course, this is varies by person to person, but what they think is if you kind of bully people with your reality, they will fall into your reality. Okay, so I was walking with Rhino early this morning, and he said, you're such a leader, you have such a strong reality, everybody falls into your reality and follows you. And I said, no, because I know the truth. It's not that. What it is this, man. It's a concept. It's a little bit of a complex idea, but you're going to like it, and this is a very valuable concept. Okay, let me give you an example. So I speak languages, right? I speak Japanese and Chinese. And I used to speak some other languages, but let's just say those two, because I do speak them still, even though I hardly use them anymore. But I will come up to somebody. So let's say you speak Japanese. You're a Japanese person, right? So I'll come up to you, and then I'll speak in Japanese, and then often you'll speak in English and say something to me. Now, I immediately will judge, is my Japanese better than your English? Is your English better than my Japanese? Now, whichever one is better wins. Okay, so if your English is perfect, right? Let's just say you went to high school in the States and you're a very unusual Japanese, you have perfect English. I'm going to switch into English. But my Japanese is much better than their English. So we just go with English. Now, someone like Seiji's English is probably a little bit better than my Japanese. It's better than my Japanese. So I usually talk English to him, usually. Now we'll relax at times, and Seiji was at the Japan Summit, by the way, very cool guy. Anyway, but having a strong reality, it's related. So I meet you, you speak Chinese, you're Chinese. Let's say your English is not good, right? And then I'm going to notice that right away, and I'm going to keep speaking Chinese, even if you speak English, until you start speaking Chinese, because I know that my Chinese is better than your English in this case, and so we can communicate better. So it's not about having a stronger reality. Okay, it's not about overpowering. It's not even about winning. Actually, my goal is communication. So I want to have the best communication I can have with the person. And the thing is, you got to have humility, because your reality could be very strong in one area. So, for example, you could be very strong, let's say in New York City, food or whatever. I'm going to come to you. I'm going to immediately realize that like if we do the thing in New York, I'm going to immediately know that you're an expert in New York, and I'm going to fall behind you when it comes to New York. Even though I've been in New York quite a few times, I'm not going to be like, hey, I'm New York, right? Because I'm not, right? But you are, so, especially in New Jersey, right? So I'm going to watch you in New Jersey, right? And I'm going to lower myself. So the reason why I've always been a leader, and I've always had a strong reality, but my reality is always ready to be submissive to another guy's reality in a certain area. The way that you become a leader is that, one, you recognize that concept. Two, you're humble enough to realize as soon as you meet somebody who is better or has a stronger reality in that area, and you follow him. See, the only way I can have a strong reality to be a leader to a lot of guys is because I'm not like that. You know what I mean? Like I meet people, I learn from them, right? I'm able to say, okay, wait a second. If we're talking about Mexican food in this area, like, okay, this is another good example. I grew up in Southern California mostly, right? And so I know a lot of Mexican food. So I thought I knew the best Mexican places when I first, because our surfers, like it's pretty serious. Grinding down on food is pretty serious part of our life, right? So I was like, fuck, I know where the good Mexican, and I was telling you guys in the chat, like, hey man, we're going to go to these Mexican places near my house. They're really good, blah, blah, blah. Well, as soon as I went with Rhino to that first place, right, the taco stand, I realized it was better than my place. So I never mentioned it again. I never said, hey, let's go up there. Because it was shocking to me. Because now I've been gone 30 years, so things have changed, right? But still, it was shocking. But so if you want to be a leader, you got to be able to, I guess, recognize when somebody has this skill and allow their reality to overpower your reality. The reason why my reality is so strong is because I do that all the time. So what happens is each person I learn from. So I learn something. So I become more balanced every day, basically, right? As long as I keep this attitude, I do become more, I learn more every day. Like we learned a lot here at the summit, right? Tons. So that's the thing. You got to keep going ahead. The guys that, if they follow your reality, now of course there's going to be people who just follow for whatever reason, but I'm talking about cool guys here. Cool guys are going to follow you if you're ahead of them because they gain from you, right? But then they also, they watch you closely, right? They're like, is this guy, is he cool? Is he, you know what I mean? Is this an ego thing? It's not an ego thing. It's not an ego thing. And so because I've worked on myself for a long time, it's not that often, in general, that I'll meet somebody like out on the street with, I would say, let's just call it a better reality than me. Like it's not that common. But I was walking in Osaka. I was walking down the street, and I forgot we were in some park. It was like raining even, bad day and everything. And there was this guy there, and they had these paddle boards. They were going to go out in the water, and the guy's name was Luke. So I was like, wow. I asked him about the boards. And the guy was pretty cool. I don't know why, but we just changed Facebooks. This is like maybe 6 years ago. So I got him on Facebook, and I didn't know anything about him except for, I don't even know why. I think I added him because I didn't know anybody in Osaka hardly. So anyway, so now 6 years have passed. I started, like, his stuff pops up on my feed. Then I realized the guy is actually a really, really, really cool guy. He's got a very cool reality. He lives in Japan. He owns a very successful English school. He's got a lot of money. He travels a lot. He's got a motorcycle. He camps a lot. He's good to his friends. I mean, you can see his whole life on his Facebook is just awesome. It's like in the top 1% of cool guys on, you know what I mean? You can see the lifestyle. You can see it, like the way Rhino lives, you know what I mean? Like there's just guys who would just have it like tight down, And so when I started following stuff, I didn't expect to think that I was going to learn something from this guy and to go below him in some level, right? For his Japan, maybe his Japan reality, or maybe his camping reality, or maybe his motorcycle reality. But anyway, like through our exchanges, every time I've ever liked his thing or posted on his thing, and he's posted on mine, every single exchange has been class, and it's been interesting. So now I accept that this guy's got some cool shit to watch. So I watch him now. He's on my radar, right? Of somebody to talk to meet again, to watch. So I think that's the best way to be a leader is to try to balance all those things at once and realize that you never have the ultimate reality, right? And you're not doing it in order to get something. You're doing it just because it's the best at the moment for the topic. That's it. It's just for the moment at the topic. This is the best. You got the best idea of what to do right now. So you lead, right? Yesterday, Rhino took us to the desert, right? And that was the best. That was really good that none of us were like, I want to go here, let's turn here. Because I had a lot of ideas and I had instructions from somebody, and I just gave them to him and we just let him do his thing. Turned out to be an insane day. You guys are going to see the footage. It's fucking beautiful.
For me, I was like,
yeah.
You do the video because you have the most experience.
Right, I gave it to you, exactly. I realized, okay, there's another one. Mm-hmm. So I was walking down the beach like 2 or 3 days ago, before they closed the beach, and I was walking down with Walter. No, what's yours? Eric. I was walking down the beach with Eric, and he grabbed his phone, and he took a video, and I looked at it, and I said, that is a motherfucking professional video. Right away I knew, because I helped to make TV a lot in China. So I said to you, you got skills. And you said, yeah, I was a professional for like, how long?
13 years.
13 years. He was a professional video. What was your
videographer? I was a freelance videographer for 13 years.
Yeah, so I saw that when I saw the video. So immediately I handed the phone to you. And I'm just like, we use your phone. We're just like the next videos you're going to see, he shot. And they're much nicer than my videos. And I have a lot to learn with shooting videos, right? So I always focus on the content. And I just put like myself walking around, but I want to keep improving that. I don't want my videos to stay the same, especially when I get the iPhone 12. I can't wait for next year. For September or whatever it is. But that's how it is. It's like, and also your friends will really respect you because you will notice their skills.
It's crazy out there, guys.
Because it's one thing to say to somebody. It's one thing to give somebody a fake hand job, right? Like, oh, you're a cool guy, blah, blah, blah. It's another thing to notice what they really are good at. See, the thing is what you really are good at is what really makes you feel. Like you notice that somebody noticed you. Yeah. Somebody's paying attention. And you realize that's not an ego thing. I wasn't trying to give you an ego thing. I just thought, holy shit, this guy's good at video. Like we gotta, if he's into it, we gotta, use this in a video. And he was like, wow, like cool, yeah. And you never even mentioned it, like 13 years of professional video, and you never even mentioned it. I've known you for like a long time, right? But as soon as I saw that video, I immediately knew.
I think with guys, it's at a fundamental level, part of just being a cool masculine guy is that we're always looking at each other's competency level. Like that's what the leadership is about. Who is the most competent in that area? That's the guy who should lead.
Right.
And also we just like kind of do that automatically. And I think that's kind of what I'm listening as Ronin is speaking. That's what I kept hearing is like,
okay, let me correct that a little bit.
You need to also be humble too. So it's like you're humble. The guy who's the most humble is typically also the guy who then learns the most, and then ultimately the most humble guy is also the guy who usually also becomes the most competent.
Well, I think aware, humble, but you don't always get what they have. You don't always learn, but the thing is you can build teams of people, and everybody's being maximized. Everybody's being used. Everybody's they're like all like horses running full speed. Everybody's doing what they're good at. Everybody's enjoying it. Nobody's like being forced into something they don't want to do. Nobody's like being ignored. Nobody's getting too much praise when everybody else is jealous. It's like just keeping track of that kind of thing, and also in yourself too. So you have to keep reading. You got to keep studying. You got to keep improving, right? So that you know what's going on. Like we were talking about doing a video on a technology, right? Yeah. I think it's important to keep yourself up on technology. Otherwise, you become a dinosaur. And everybody recognizes it. No, being a dinosaur is not a good thing, right? You got to keep up on stuff if you want to stay in the flow of life, right? I want to be in the flow of life, right? Always in the flow of life, It's always that story. I think I'll end on this. When I was in high school, we went to Mirror Lake above Yosemite, and we were sitting there, man. I was watching everybody. It was ice cold water. It was like an ice bath, man. And there was a couple people with their feet in, but it was beautiful, right? And my feet were there, and I love swimming, I love surfing, and I'm like, I just thought, I'm going in. I'm just gonna go in to life, We're only gonna be here once. Took off my clothes, jumped in, man, and I just had a great day. And it was just like, no. And then a couple other guys jumped in after me, right? Because nobody thought you could jump in. It was real cold. This is like 1981, right? There's no ice baths. There was none of that stuff. people didn't go in cold water. People didn't even swim that much, really. It wasn't as popular.
I got
You know.
I got a question as far as because when going back to where it started with PUA guys, and the big thing, common thing is hold your frame or wherever. I know what they're pointing at. It's a very similar thing, but I just want to know how what you're talking about relates to relations with women and the hold your frame, or the same topic with women, because a lot of this talk seems, I understand what you're saying, but it's more of a friend dynamic, I think, than relational. Or
No, it's got three aspects we talked about. One was for girls. Girls love a guy with a strong reality. They want to follow a man with a strong reality. It gives them a sense of confidence. I mean, a guy without a strong, a guy with no backbone. I don't like these words because all these words don't mean anything to me, really.
Could you define strong reality?
Yeah, it's like
the wind won't blow you over, kind of.
Well, it's just like, I think women. I think there's one thing that women are good at, and that's reading men. We might not be as good as they are at reading men. They can understand if somebody is wishy-washy. Now, changing your mind doesn't mean you could have a very strong reality and change your mind every 10 minutes. Okay, I'm not saying the old school be a man type stuff. I'm saying you like, for me, I look for truth. So as soon as I find out something's not true, I switch. So I'm not about committing to an idea. I'm about committing to truth. I want to find out more. I want to be better. So that's where my reality comes from. It's not tethered to any idea. So if my idea is wrong, I don't get crushed. In fact, I don't mind if a girl's right at all and I'm wrong, because I'll just say, wow, I learned something, just like a friend. So it's my reality is tethered to that search for truth. The best way to do something, the best way to, you know what I mean? Like the best balance in life, having humor, the fastest way to heal your body, the best way to make, this or whatever, right? And so I'm always looking for truth. So the girls, they when they around me, they sense that it's I have a philosophy that works for me. It's not a fake philosophy. It's not a forced philosophy. It's not a bully philosophy. It is my philosophy, and they just happen to be near me, like you float by a black hole, and then you get sucked. It's like I'm just doing my thing. I am not doing it for anybody. I'm not doing it for you guys. I'm not doing it for the girls. I literally could be alone on the planet. It would be exactly the same with this, Like I have my reality about what I'm doing, right? Looking for stuff. So that is very attractive. I think that might be one of the secret ingredients for getting women. I could go more deep into it, but I have to really think about it, man. I'd have to really think, Gabe, to really answer that in from that perspective, from peer pressure. But I would say there's basically three things. There's girls, there's friends, and there's business. So the last one we didn't talk about yet, so I'll just 1 minute. Business is this. Friends are different. Okay, friends, you are, somebody drives and then the other guy drives, right? In business and also in the military, you need one leader. There's one leader and they don't change. Now, friends too, like in this event, you're in charge of this, I'm in charge of this, you're in charge. There's different things that there's the top guy. And he gets asked, can we do this? In certain areas, right? So, but building teams. So when you're a leader in business, or if you want to be a leader in business, you have to be able to spot those same skills in people, right? What skills do you have? What skills? And then you have to recognize them, give them praise, make them feel that, wow, this guy notices me, and give them a sense of, I want to work with somebody like this. You know what I mean? Like, this is the kind of guy that I would like to be around more. I feel I could benefit from being around this person more, right? That's why I would be happy to work for Elon Musk. Even as his secretary, I'd be very happy to do that, because I would get an insight into his life, right? I would watch him do things. I would watch him, the way he makes decisions, the way he manages things. I would learn a lot from that. So I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to take the most lowest role in business if it's going to get me new information, new knowledge, special access, So, but in the end, the final result of this is different than friends. It's that you can build a team. and everybody's competent and everybody can rely on each other because we know you can do the video. We know you can, everybody's got something that everybody knows they're good at. And we all know that you're not going to do the video as good as we know that. There's no question, right? You're the video guy, and you're chosen for a reason. And that's logical, fact-based. And of course, somebody else can get better over time, but basically for the moment, no question, right? So I think that's how you build a team, is by recognizing people's skills and then showing them that you notice them, that you're aware. You're not like, I'm the leader, let's go over here, you move over here, you do this. Oh, you did this last week, well, try this, It's like, you're watching the guy, and it's just like when you're throwing the ball to the little boy, like 2 years old. Every time you throw it a little bit weirder so that he has to just struggle a little bit to catch it, right? Like a little bit harder than before. Maybe the ball's a little smaller, or maybe it's a little bit over his head, right? Or you're rolling it to him a little faster or slower, You're giving it to him so there's a little bit of challenge in each time that you do it, right? Because if you just throw it the same way every time, he's going to be bored. And if you throw it too hard, then he's going to give up, right? So it's about giving him just that amount that he just, each time he challenges and he gets a big smile on his face because every time he's learning, right? I think that's how you be a leader in business, is by giving people these challenges so that, you recognize them and you recognize their skills, put people in the right positions, have that sense that you know who they are, you're aware, and then to throw challenges at them. And then they will rise. The good ones will rise to the challenge, and the other guys will not. And then you weed them out, right? So that's how you use it for business. That sense of your own reality. That's how I would use it. That's how I would use the leadership thing. And I've always been a leader. Like ever since I was a little kid, little adults used to come up to me when I was a tiny little kid and they'd say, "You're a leader." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "You have extra responsibility." People used to come to me and say, "You got to be a Christian. You got to go to believe because everybody follows you." Like, well, I don't know why everybody follows you. You have to do this. You have to. People told me, like, kind of bully, like, they could see that people were doing it. And I was like, I was super little. I was like, why are they doing this? I felt like being a leader was a negative thing, because whenever we get in trouble, I would always get in trouble, If we all did something bad, right? We tore the paper at a house or egged cars or, shoplifted or whatever we did, But I never got credit for winning the soccer games or for us, doing something cool, right? I only got credit for the negative things, So people would say, he's a leader, he's in charge. He's the guy, beat him, basically. And I never knew being a leader was good before because I never got the sense of the good thing. So I think if you have somebody who is a leader, you benefit by being near them. Like I also benefit from many leaders in my life that I've been close to, and I learn from them, and I'm willing to even work for free. I've done that many times. I worked for free in Tokyo for 1 year for investment banking. That's how I got that job. I got the opportunity. I had no salary. I worked for free. Every day I was there. I paid my rent. I had like a $5,000 a month fucking nut to crack. I had to make money outside. And then every day I was there with a suit on time, with my suit and tie, doing the job, not complaining, because I knew that this guy was one of the top in the world and he could teach me. And so I never complained about it. I never said, I gained a lot from him, right? So it's like you have to also be wise as a follower. Follow the right people. And don't let them, like I would have quit if he wouldn't have let me do the more radical business that I was doing. If he would have put me on a more of a secretarial role, I wouldn't have done it. Because this guy wasn't Elon Musk. He just had one skill I wanted to learn. And that was how to sell, how to source basically bad loans backed by property, like in the $50 to $100 million range, how to sell them. And then, of course, property management, how to turn them into profitable things. So I could learn that from him. But there was nothing else I could learn from him, basically. So that particular skill is why I followed him, because I thought it was valuable enough to do, and that's what I did. But yeah. So anyway, that's my thoughts on leadership. Thank you. I got some water. That's my thoughts on leadership and your own reality. Take with what say what you like on the below. I want to hear what you guys think. I'm trying to get a concept out here. It was kind of came up when we were walking. I hope it's helpful. All right, later.